Have you ever met someone who is technically book smart, like straight A's, great memorization, but they just seem sort of impossible to deal with in real life? Or maybe, and be honest here, have you ever caught yourself doing something that in hindsight made you feel, well, not so bright? I'm talking about winning the argument but losing the friend, or spending 3 hours studying but retaining absolutely zero information. Here's the thing we don't talk about enough. True intelligence isn't just about your IQ score or how fast you can solve a math equation. It's about adaptability. It's about how you process the world. There are tiny, everyday habits, things we do on autopilot, that are actually massive signals of low intelligence behavior. They limit our growth, they ruin our relationships, and they keep us stuck. I used to do almost all of these. Today, we're going to break down 5 of them and, more importantly, how to flip the switch. The first habit is the deadliest one. It's the phrase, "I already know that." We see this all the time in the productivity space or in class. You hear a tip like sleep 8 hours or use a planner, and your brain instantly shuts down. You scroll past, you tune out the professor. Why is this a sign of low intelligence? Because it kills curiosity. When you say, "I know that," you stop listening. But here is the uncomfortable truth: knowing is not the same as doing. I used to read 10 self-help books a year. I knew everything. I knew about habits, I knew about investing, I knew about fitness, but my life looked exactly the same. I was confusing familiarity with mastery. Intelligent people operate differently. They have what the Japanese call shoshin, or beginner's mind. Even if they've heard it 100 times, they ask, "Am I actually applying this right now? Is there a nuance I missed?" Next time you feel that urge to roll your eyes and say, yeah, basic advice, stop. Replace "I know that" with "How well am I doing that?" It changes everything. Habit number 2 is something that destroys your mental peace: binary thinking. This is when you view the world in absolutes. If I fail this exam, my life is over. She didn't text back, so she hates me. I'm either a success or a total failure. This is a massive cognitive distortion. It's a sign of low cognitive complexity. Why? Because the real world is almost never black and white. It's a million shades of gray. When we lock ourselves into binary thinking, we become fragile. If you're not perfect, you decide you're trash. That leads to burnout, procrastination, and quitting the moment things get hard. I remember in my freshman year, I got a C on a paper. My binary brain said, "You are not a good student, you don't belong here." But a high-intelligence approach looks for the nuance. It says, "Okay, I'm good at research, but I struggled with the structure of this specific essay. I can fix the structure." Catch yourself using words like always, never, or everyone. When you think, "I always mess up," pause, force yourself to find one exception. It forces your brain to process reality, not just your insecurity. This one hurts. I'm guilty of this, and you probably are too. You're in a conversation, the other person is talking. But are you listening, or are you just waiting for a gap in the noise so you can speak? Most people confuse talking a lot with being smart. They think if they dominate the conversation, they look dominant. Actually, it usually makes you look insecure. Low intelligence is assuming you have nothing to learn from the person in front of you. High intelligence is knowing that everyone you meet knows something you don't. If you are constantly planning your comeback while they are still talking, you are missing data. You are missing emotional cues. You are operating with blinders on. Try the 2-second rule. When someone finishes a sentence, count to 2 in your head before you say anything. 1, 2. It feels awkward at first, but it proves you were actually digesting what they said, not just reloading your own ammunition. We all love being right, it feels safe. But habit number 4 is curating your life so you never have to be wrong. If you only follow people who agree with you, only read news that confirms your bias, and only hang out with friends who never challenge you, you are actively shrinking your intelligence. This is called confirmation bias. It's comfortable, but it's dangerous. It makes your brain rigid. When you eventually encounter a conflicting idea, you don't know how to debate it, you just get angry. Getting angry at new information is a huge red flag. It means your identity is too tied to your opinions. You need to audit your feed. Follow one person you respectfully disagree with. Read one article from the other side. You don't have to change your mind, but you do have to understand why they think that way. Intelligence isn't about knowing the answer. It's about being able to entertain a thought without accepting it. The final habit: reacting immediately. You get a rude email, you fire one back instantly. Someone cuts you off in traffic, you scream. You feel bored, you instantly grab your phone. A lack of gap between stimulus and response is a sign of low emotional intelligence. It means you are a slave to your impulses. Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor, famously said that between stimulus and response there is a space, and in that space lies our freedom. Smart people widen that space. They feel the anger, but they don't act on it immediately. They feel the boredom, but they don't instantly doom scroll. It's simple but hard. When you feel a strong emotion, anger, excitement, frustration, wait. Give it the 10-minute rule. If you're still that angry in 10 minutes, send the text. Spoiler alert, you won't be. Here's the bottom lines. None of these habits mean you are stupid. They just mean you're human. We are wired to be lazy, tribal, and reactive. But if you want to level up in school, in your career, in your relationships, you have to fight that wiring. Intelligence is a muscle. You build it by listening when you want to talk, by pausing when you want to react, by saying tell me more when you want to say I know. So here is my challenge to you tonight. Pick just one of these habits we talked about. Maybe it's the binary thinking, maybe it's the interrupting. Catch yourself doing it one time tomorrow and stop it. That's it, just once. If you made it this far, comment down below with open mind, so I know who the real ones are that are ready to grow. Don't forget to hit like if this sparks something in you. I'll see you in the next one.